My name is Lupe Lopez. I lived with him for the last 20 years. We moved here from Laredo, Texas. My wife and I, we've married 39 years, and we have 7 kids. You see, back then we didn't have television. We were so broke. But anyway, now we have one in every room. But my wife's son will be instant up and back to ask. She's also a school teacher, and a very good one, by the way. She's won Teacher of the Year twice. She didn't want me to say that, so I don't want to embarrass her. And also I told her that I promised I wouldn't sing tonight. So anyway, I'm going to take you back to the mid-40s, 1945 to be exact. My mom and dad were, in those years, braceros. You know what a bracero is? Well, back then, the federal government had a program called the Bracero program, where they would get labor from Mexico, unskilled labor from Mexico, to come work the fields, to pick up the cotton and the vegetables as well. But they were here for 2 years. And during that span of time, I was born in Texas, in San Benito, Texas, to be exact. So this was back in 1947. So I'll say with the math, that makes me 60 years old. But when I was 2, they went back to Mexico, where they were from, and Monterrey, Mexico to be exact. They decided that they wanted to go back, and of course, I was small, so I went back with them. So I grew up in Monterrey until I was 14 years old. But knowing that I was a U.S. citizen, because I was born in Texas, made me a little bit more special than the other kids that I hang around with all the time. But during my time in Monterrey, in my humble beginnings, I learned a lot. I became very smart, street smart per se. I learned things that perhaps I would have learned as I was growing up. But all the things that I experienced back then, it made me stronger for what I am today, of the way I am today. I don't think there's no one in places that I've gone to that can tell me that that's something that I cannot relate to, because I probably experienced it back then. We lived in the outskirts of Monterrey. My mom, they didn't have any special gifts. My dad was a carpenter. My mom was a homemaker. She stayed home. And it seems like, all they knew how to do is have kids, because we had this 13 of us. And so, needless to say, it was very tough for them to provide for all of us. I remember we had this tejaban. You know what a tejaban is? A shack. Where we had no electricity. We had no running water of any kind. And we were in the outskirts per se, not so much within the city limits. We were in the outskirts. Remember vividly that because we didn't have electricity, my mom would burn a kerosene lamp in the front of the house and then towards the back. And at night when we went to bed, she'd always leave them on, all night long. She'd never turn them off. So in the morning when we got up, me and my brothers, we all had the suit of the kerosene lamp run through our nostrils. It was black. But we were not the only ones. All the kids in the neighborhood also experienced the same things that I experienced. The only difference was that I was a U.S. citizen. But at the time, I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know anything about Texas or the United States. I was, ignorant of many things. When I was going to school in Monterrey, I experienced some things that perhaps prepared me for what was to come later on in life. And with those experiences came the fact that my parents were not educated themselves. As a result, we didn't have the guidance that a family or kids needed from their parents to guide them along and teach them things. I'm not being judgmental, because my parents, they were themselves were not really educated. Excuse me. So I went to school at the elementary level in Monterrey, barefooted. None of my brothers and sisters had shoes. We didn't have I remember wearing a t-shirt to school for the whole week. There were, and I was not the only one. The other kids that went to school with me was in the same situation. My toes still show scars from going to school barefooted because our shoes were not paved. And you can see stumps all over the place as we went to school. I guess today, you know, when you have shoes and you have socks, right? So today when I go to the mall, my wife very tells me things about this. The first thing I do is buy socks. It's in my sock patches, maybe. But if you go to my closet at home, I have socks that still have been opened. Why that is, I still don't understand. When I became 14 years old, I was in the streets of Monterrey selling oranges, lemons in the mercado, bags in the mercado. I remember going to work 6 in the morning to sell my oranges in the mercado, and then we'll finish about 12, 1 o'clock during the day. And after that, I was straight to the pool hall. Because, you know, that's all there was. We didn't aspire to get educated or better ourselves. We just knew to go, you know, day by day, week by week. And every day I go play pool. And I became very good at it. And I would play for money. I still play for money today. My mom said that because I was a U.S. citizen at the time, when I was 14, she said, why don't you go to Matamoros and stay with your aunt that lives in Matamoros, and you can work in Brownsville across the border since you have your papers. And because I was already tired of being in Monterrey, doing what I was doing, as I was growing up, I wanted to do something else, something different. Not so much better, but different.